our Black Sea gas reserves panel. I will make a brief introduction and then I'll introduce to you our distinguished speakers and we'll then have time for any questions you might have. So, we're now the week of the agreement of the COP28. So, we're discussing natural gas at this panel, so that might raise a few eyebrows. For now, and I think for the next 15, 20 years, we still need to keep the lights on to heat our homes, to power the industry, until we can get to the stage where we use mostly clean energy. Natural gas is a very good solution to this transition phase. We have, it's relatively clean, certainly much cleaner than coal, and very flexible. The power generation using gas turbines, this is a very flexible process, and they are an outstanding complement to intermittent renewable energy. So we need to find the gas, extract it, transport it, sell it, and use it. And one needs the natural gas resources, first of all, and then the financial resource to fund the massive investments. So I guess we'll be looking at a few issues today. The natural gas reserves that Romania has discovered, how that will improve the energy security of the region, what are the areas of potential cooperations between us and Ukraine in terms of offshore gas, what is, I guess, a best practice in terms of regulatory regimes, and we're not going to be able to ignore the fact that Russia occupies Crimea. So how is that going to affect the, I guess, the security of these, you know, the offshore platforms? Let's see if our distinguished speakers can shed some light on this. We are going to speak, I think we have guest speakers from Ukraine that will be speaking via video conference, and will either use well, English, Romanian, and Ukrainian. So I will now give the floor to His Excellency Mykola Kolesnik, who's the Deputy Minister of Energy in Ukraine. I think is going to join us via video conference. Sir, you have the floor.
Yes. Well.
Yes, we can.
So, on behalf of the Ministry of Energy, first of all, let me to gratitude the organization and participants for possibility to discuss so crucial item for today, and it's very important to discuss, especially in the focus of infrastructure, and as we do believe in resource development. Energy security plays a crucial role in economy development, and any crisis that may happen affect directly the GDP or any other index of economy development. Black Sea plays a huge role in European strategy of energy transition, and all this region, Balkans, East Europe, can support energy transition of European Union, especially by developing our resources and sending them to European liquid markets. The liquidity of trading markets is one of the basement of independent development and price stability, and it's very important to have sustainability in energy markets. First of all, I would also like to provide our greetings to OMV Petrom, Romgas, other participants of development Neptune Deep project. It's very important to have strategic projects in the region. First of all, to make our hydrocarbons that in the future will be developed in Black Sea more concurrent comparing with other hydrocarbons which is developed all over the world. And the most important step for this is attracting world technology companies like Halliburton, like Baker Hughes and other with their technologies to make current production and development more efficient and to have more efficient production line in the future. New technology is the answer for cost efficiency production, and any company that comes to the Black Sea geological region development will invest in one big geological potential spot that plays important role for the whole Black Sea region countries. Due to this, for us, it's very important to have joint position of all countries how to stress and enhance the security to make this process valid and sustainable. Demilitarization is one of the most important questions that we should rise and agree and have the same position on the table between the all Black Sea countries. It's not possible to compete with any type of troops because there is no need in any type of military troops in Black Sea region in case if there is no threats. The previous panel discussions were focused on the matter of attack, the problems which is raised. A few years ago, the NATO countries and Ukraine, European countries were mostly talking about so-called hybrid threats. Hybrid threats were really the problem on IT attacks, on hackers attacks, on economic threats, high prices affecting our economies, not having any developments on alternative routes of supply. But the war, which started by Russia in Ukraine, broke all that logic. And now most of our countries started critically in very quick schedule trying to develop new routes of supply, new sources of hydrocarbon. Strategic projects like Neptune Deep project, like Ukrainian projects that were previously developed, especially with Norwegian companies, with well-known geological companies, could be successful basement for European energy security. But for that, once again, we need to have joint position on security issue of Black Sea region, and the only answer for that is demilitarization. All countries were focused on confirming resource criteria due to AP standards, which makes, in a global perspective of view, Black Sea resource as one of important and crucial all over the East Europe and Euro-Asian region. In geological perspective of view, it's one of like the second after Caucasus region where we can have exact confirmed deposits that could be already shipped to European market because we already have well-developed gas infrastructure in this region. To make Black Sea safe for production in 2027, as it's planned by Romanian companies, we need to invest in our security and have this tight, tough position today. And only having that like ultimatum with no other options, we will stress that security all over between Black Sea countries. Turkey already have confirmed deposits and plans to develop. Romania already have plans to develop. Bulgaria developed natural gas market for transit capacity and for LNG, for Caucasus natural gas. But in 2013, when the biggest agreements in Caspian Sea were signed, the same agreements were done in Black Sea region. And only because of hybrid threats for that time, because of invasion to the Crimea, this area is not yet enough exploited. But the resource level is really tremendous, it's really important, and it's already confirmed resources. So the investment in high-tech, investment in security issues is very important for us. The last word to say, once again, on technology issue, our congratulations to OMV Petrom for signing the contract for semi-submersible platform for shallow and deep water basins. It's really important to have that high-tech innovation in our region. The sixth generation rig is like one of world known, and to involve them for production in Black Sea, it's like a really regional, good regional step for attracting good technology in the region. Due to this, I will summarize my speech in the 3 bullets. New technology help us to develop and produce concurrent, competing hydrocarbons. Second point, we have developed infrastructure which help us to send it to the liquid European markets. And the last point, energy security should be the most important issue that will help us with the joint position of demilitarization to develop this resource and to make all this process and projects efficient. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We note your obvious emphasis on security and the advantages that the developed gas infrastructure in Ukraine can offer to future gas transportation. So I will now give the floor to Mr. Lóránt ANTAL, a senator, and is the president of the Energy and Energy Infrastructure and Natural Resources Committee in the Romanian Parliament, sir.
Thank you very much for the floor. First of all, I'd like to say a warm welcome to all of the guests coming from abroad. And secondly, of course, I'd like to show my gratitude to New Strategy Center and to say a warm and a big thank you for Mr. President Dmytro and our friend George Scutaru for the fact that invited me to this event, and of course for this initiative to have this kind of discussions, very proper discussions related to energy security and generally speaking related to security as well, regional security as well. Taking in consideration that we are in Sinaia, in this very nice place in Romania, in the Carpathian Curve, with your permission, I'm going to switch in Romanian to say my remarks related to energy security, to say what is our perspective in this regard. So,
hello. I would like to thank you all for inviting me. When we speak about energy security, we understand national security. And when we speak about energy security as national security, it also means territorial security. Of course, I usually say that it is important to delineate two very important periods of time. Before the war, before Russia's attack on Ukraine, and the aftermath when the war is ongoing. Why should we separate the two periods? in time, because before the war, in Europe, when we spoke about energy security, we were not taken too seriously because it was not a popular topic. At the EU level, countries started speaking about the fact that we don't need natural gas and we should get rid of transmission grids and pipelines, and we should think about electricity in small hubs, small centers, small clusters, and everything should be placed in a digitalized cloud. The war showed us that energy security is a highly important topic, and energy security means territorial security and physical security of the energy infrastructure. Why am I saying that? Because after Russia's attack on Ukraine, we all understood that we need to focus on energy security and work together at the EU level for this purpose, because if we don't have a strategy on energy security, we will never have security in providing the citizens with power and gas. Now we have Neptune Deep in our country, and Mr. Maximescu, who for sure will present details about Neptune Deep to us. But through the gas reserves, Romania discovered it can become a security provider in the energy sector. What does Romania have? Romania has a favorable geographic position because we have access to the Black Sea. Care-i pagina următoare? We have the possibility to exploit natural gas as of 2027, and as of that point in time, we can be providers of energy security in the region. Now, when it comes to the transmission of natural gas and interconnectors for electric power, Romania is among the few states in the BRUA network, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Austria. So the BRUA line, we have completed all works on our territory, works connected to the BRUA network, because we want to become energy security providers in the region. Now we are discussing at the level of Transelectrica to construct a continuous power line, power grid that connects the region to Europe. So we will have a continuous power grid, and Romania signed an agreement with Azerbaijan and Hungary for an underwater cable line for electric power. We are here at this conference to speak about the reconstruction of Ukraine. So what are our advantages as a country in this process? Proximity. Proximity to Ukraine and access to the Black Sea and through the Black Sea, plus a high potential in natural gas, and we can become provider of energy security and security in the region. But for that, we as a country need to carry out investments in industrial platforms. And when we speak about reconstruction, we all think first about concrete and brick and mortar and proper rebuilding and roads and infrastructure. But I would like to speak about the energy perspective as well. At the level of the EU, we need technology in the energy sector. So let's speak about our potential with renewable energy and helping in the reconstruction of Ukraine and making investments in production capacities in Romania, and why not in Ukraine as well, to produce cable lines, turbines, and an entire industry that will be provider of technology for the energy sector. Yes, I also mean partnerships with companies in Ukraine, because the potential our country has can be translated into the potential to become an energy provider and security provider in the region. What is Romania's role in the region? I would like to reiterate the fact that Romania, before the war, played an important role. Romania played its role quietly before the outbreak of the war. Transelectrica disconnected the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine from the Russian energy system and connected it to ENTSO-I. So we could secure, from an energy point of view, Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova after the war started. So Romania played an important role. Since we are speaking about natural gas, another key element I would like to emphasize refers to the fact that although the EU before the war wasn't speaking about natural gas and wanted to get rid of natural gas, we managed to introduce that framework related to energy transition in Europe, because this energy transition is in full swing in Europe and in Romania. And through this taxonomy, natural gas became a transition fuel, a transition resource. This was an important step. And we also put on the table nuclear energy that started being seen as a clean source of energy. This is an important issue for Romania. Now, another element I would like to refer to from our country's perspective in the reconstruction of Ukraine. It is obvious that we have a lot of work to do. We need to electrify our railway system. I believe in that. I believe this is the future. 40% of our railway is electrified, unfortunately. So, if we want to take part in the reconstruction of Ukraine, it is obvious that we as a state should make huge investments to electrify our railroad system, because if we have a functional railway system, we will play an important role in the region. We will be an important economy in the region, and we can push for economical development. Now, my last thoughts. I would like to state some figures because I mentioned natural gas and taxonomy. The figures are as follows. In 2017, the natural gas consumption worldwide grew by 6.94% and production by 8%. Then the following year there was a decline, and in 2019 we again boosted the production and got to 10% increase at global level and consumption to 8%. So the consumption increased by 8%. So this is the grassroots reality. These are our necessities as well. So we need natural gas, and there will be a need for natural gas in order to make the industry run and in order to have a stable economy with development potential. Thank you very much for your attention.
ANTAL, and thank you for highlighting Romania's role as an energy security provider to the region. Also your openness to find ways to work together with our Ukrainian neighbors. And the way you encouraged us to find an outlay for the electricity and gas and whatever energy we will be producing by developing industrial usage. Now I will give the floor to Mr. MAXIMESCU, who is the Vice President at OMV Petrom and in charge of public and regulatory affairs. Mr. MAXIMESCU.
Hello also from my side to everybody. Glad to be here today in Sinaia. I think a very good idea of New Strategy Center and of George Scutaru to bring us all together in this Reconstruction Forum. Romania has a role to play, and we are very glad that so important stakeholders from Romania, from Ukraine, and from the allies nations are here with us, either physically or online to this forum. I would like today to present you some of the aspects related to the Neptune Deep project. I was very happy to see that also the Deputy Minister from Ukraine is following very closely the developments of this project. In December 2021, OMV Petrom has adopted the new strategy for the next 10 years. We have three main pillars of our strategy. The first and most important one is to grow the regional gas footprint of the company. The second one is to grow our low and zero carbon technologies. And the third one is to continuing optimizing our traditional business. Why is Neptune Deep a transformational project, not only for OMV Petrom, but also for the region? This is the biggest offshore discovery in Romania. In mid-2023, we have taken a very important decision, namely the final investment decision, together with our partners from Romgaz. This field is owned 50% by Romgaz and 50% by OMV Petrom. We are acting as the operator of this field. The first production is awaited in 2027, and at the plateau, this field will produce around 140,000 BOE per day. The confirmed estimated recoverable volumes right now are approximately at 100 BCM. And the development costs, the capex for this project only in the developing phase are roughly estimated at 4 billion euros. It is the biggest singular project after 1989 in Romania. During the exploration phase, we have invested additional 1.5 billion euros in order to confirm those reserves. This is the timeline of the project. I have to confess to you, the journey was too long. I think we could have done it earlier, but we are happy that we are now in the development phase. Everything started in 2008 with signing of a joint venture agreement with ExxonMobil. This was followed by an acquisition seismic campaign over a few years. And in 2012, we have had the first big discovery, Domino 1, followed by other discoveries. In August 2022, OMV Petrom took over the operatorship, and Romgaz has joined the joint venture. And this year we have taken the final investment decision. In August, we've signed the biggest contract for this project, amounting at 1.6 billion for development of the central platform and the pipelines with Saipem. And a few days ago, the second major contracts were signed for the drilling activities with tier 1 companies, namely Transocean and Halliburton from the US, contracts amounting roughly 400 million euros. With those two contracts, we have secured more than 80% of the investments for Neptune Deep. So we are placed very well for the next years to come in terms of development. Moreover, in March this year, the Tuzla-Podișor pipeline and the booking, the capacity booking was signed with the national TSO, this securing our entering into the Romanian national grid. This is a slide that shows you a picture of the potential of gas in the region. For the time being, Romania is roughly consuming 10 to 11 BCM per year. The neighboring countries, Hungary is at 9 BCM, Moldova 1 BCM, Bulgaria at 2.8 to 3 BCM. The domestic gas demand is expected to grow by 2030. This growth is driven mainly by the new gas-fired power plants that are right now being built, and there will be commissioned in the years to come. Neptune Deep will transform Romania into the greatest gas producer in the European Union. The gas infrastructure is very well developed with the neighboring countries. The the accumulated gas import and export capacities with neighboring countries is at 8 BCM. Neptune Deep will be an important stepping stone, both in terms of security, greater energy security, and low carbon economy for Southeast Europe. Why is Neptune Deep a game changer for Romania? It is a very robust project with robust profitability and with latest technology. In this sense, we see the value chain of gas increasing. In this respect, we have also signed a partnership in order to start developing our first CNG and LNG filling station by 2025. The increase in domestic production will also support Romania's efforts to decarbonize, as gas can very easily replace coal. Neptune Deep will bring both increased security of supply and economic benefits for Romania. If we look at a long-term contribution of this project for Romania, an independent study is showing a contribution of roughly 20 billion euros for the lifetime of the project for the Romanian state budget. And before closing, very briefly, I would like to invite you for a 2 minutes short video about this project. I think it's very illustrative and self-explanatory. For further questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you very much.
The Black Sea of Romania. Off this coastline is a natural resource that, in a few years' time, will deliver new, cleaner energy. The Black Sea of Romania. Off this coastline is a natural resource that, in a few years' time, will deliver new, cleaner energy. A resource that could turn Romania into the largest gas producer in the European Union. The first deep water discovery in the Black Sea was made in 2012. The Domino 1 gas field is 170 kilometers offshore and in water 1 kilometer deep. Further exploration identified another field called Pelican South, 1 kilometer beneath the surface. The pressure is 100 kilos per square centimeter, so the latest technology will be used to install the subsea equipment. Over the Domino reservoir, there are 2 drill centers. Each wellhead is about the size of a small van. Both drill centers are connected to an offshore gas platform. The Pelican South reservoir has 1 drill center, which is closer to the platform. The offshore gas handling platform will be taller than 6 infinity columns stacked on top of one another. The platform is unstaffed and generates its own power, making it safer and reducing the project's environmental footprint. Routine maintenance visits will be made by a supply vessel to confirm safe and efficient operations. The natural gas requires only minor treatment before entering a new 160-kilometer pipeline to shore. Along its side runs a fiber optic cable that allows the platform to be monitored and controlled remotely. As the pipeline approaches the shore, it will dive beneath the sea floor. Using the latest low-impact pipe tunneling technology, the pipeline will pass under the beach without disturbance to the environment. It will remain buried until it reaches a small metering station just over a kilometre inland. The natural gas will now enter the Romanian transmission system. Neptune Deep will bring new revenues and investments to the country's economy. And it will contribute to the building of a cleaner and more secure energy future for Romania.
Well, thank you. Very, very nice. And thank you for sharing with us the long journey where you had to steer the project to get it to its current stage. So we look forward to seeing the first molecule being extracted. Now, I'll give the floor to Mr. Dmytro LYPPA, who's a specialist in gas transmission, as he is the CEO of the Ukrainian gas transmission system operator. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues. It's a pleasure to be with you here. Unfortunately, we are not able to come frequently, but we are trying to. This time, I'll speak over the video conference call. Thank you, organizers. Thank you, all the participants for this opportunity. And may I please ask, yes, thank you for presentation. And before moving to the topic of development of relationship between Romania and Ukraine, I would like to give you a brief overview of how situation looks like on a, let's say, helicopter view level from our side. Can we move please to the next slide? So, as far as you all know, after the war started, most of the countries in northern part of Europe refused to consume Russian gas delivered through Ukraine or other pipelines, to different reasons, we understand it. And now we have Poland, we have Czech Republic, Germany, that are not being supplied by Russian gas, especially from Ukraine. With that, we still have a flow of Russian gas through Ukraine, which is moving to Slovakia and Austria. Some of the molecules come into Italian system and Moldova. And if we are talking about Southeast Europe, the topic of our discussion, we see that there are molecules that are coming from Turk Stream and basically allocated between the region. Can we please to the next slide? Ukrainian infrastructure is in a good condition. We fortunately did not suffer from the attacks that been made since last year for energy infrastructure, but those were mainly targeting electricity generation and transmission. So for Ukraine, we are in a good shape and operational, and we made a specific stress test to confirm that our system is operational even in case of negative developments. And for now, traditionally our major capacity are located on the western part of the country, on the borders of Slovakia, Hungary. Some amount of capacity is allocated on Polish border, and on the south we have, of course, the very important interconnector Isakcha and Orlovka, which connects Romania to Ukrainian infrastructure, gas transmission system. And as you can see from the slide, our exit capacity, so basically the flow from north to south, is much bigger than those of the reverse flow. And this is, of course, connected to historical development of the system when Russian gas was transmitted through Ukraine to European countries. And now we see this point as a good opportunity for development between our countries, because basically the capacity you see normally would be able to be reversed in a different direction. And the capacity you see is actually the capacity for only one of 3 pipes that are being laid in this point. So basically, it can be tripled with some minor additional efforts from the sides of TSOs of Ukraine and Romania. Can we please move to the next slide? So our understanding and idea that developments of production in Romania and also developments of
I guess we'll wait for a minute or so to see if the connection is renewed.
Hello?
You're back.
Okay, thank you so much. So I stopped on a Trans-Balkan route. Colleagues, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So Trans-Balkan route is a great opportunity for the region to rethink the allocation of resources, and this is being supported by the development of LNG capacities and also the perspective of production of natural gas on Neptune Deep. We all understand that the region will have access of natural gas, considering these developments and the opportunity for us to think if we can deliver this gas to the countries that are still being dependent on Russian gas, in particular Austria and Slovakia. And there is available route through Ukraine, which is already in place and doesn't require huge investments. And this route can be used by traders and producing companies to deliver the resource to the countries where it is demanded. The beauty of the solution is also in the fact that in the western part of Ukraine we have huge capacities of underground storages, which total at about 31 BCM. And for now, for time being, we only utilize it just in half, which creates a good opportunity for development of business, which will allow to transport natural gas to the storages over the summer and spring, and then to withdraw the natural gas, also directing it to the western part of the country and then to Slovakia during the heating season. So these are the opportunities that we are looking at the moment. I have to words of admiration to the
So I guess we'll give Mr. LYPPA a minute to see if the connection can be renewed. I welcome any thoughts our colleagues from the technical department might have on this. Okay, Mr. LYPPA, you're back.
Okay. Sorry for connection from my side.
That's
Everything
okay.
looks fine, but okay. So to sum up, the great opportunity is in Trans-Balkan route that can be reverted, and the gas that will be produced on Neptune Deep also can be transported to our underground storages in the western part of the country, and then transported to the Western Europe through Slovakia and existing routes. So that is the project that we are working on together with Romanian TSO, with Transgas, with Mr. Jan Steran, and I would like to say a few words of admiration for his efforts that he puts into this development. And I think that this idea might be very successful in the future. In addition, of course, we are talking about natural gas here, but we should probably have a few words on development of hydrogen. And here we also see great opportunities because southern part of Ukraine is considered to be a very good place to allocate the green generating capacities for wind and solar energy generation. And we believe that close proximity of metallurgical site of the Galati can be a good idea to transport hydrogen from Ukrainian side to Romanian and to make this cooperation on a new energy agent, which is hydrogen for the future. With that, I would like to thank for opportunity to make this small presentation, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions at the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for highlighting the impressive infrastructure that the Ukrainian transmission system has, both in terms of transport and storage. That being said, we're now I would like to thank our guests for their presentations, and we can open the floor to any queries you might have to
Thank you. Thank you all for the interesting debates and discussions. I will have a question for Mr. Antal. Since you addressed in Romanian language, I will also raise the question in Romanian. Oh, okay, great, thank you. You know, I really appreciated in your speech, Senator, the fact that you actually pointed out to specific areas that could help in building bridges, that could help in developing cooperation with Ukraine. I think it's about time to move from having abstract discussions about let's reconstruct Ukraine and start pinpointing actually to what areas can be of mutual interest. I would consider that in starting to discuss about specific areas of cooperation, there are two major topics that we have to address. One is financing, and the second is to identify, to stimulate actors, economic actors, to start investing, you know, qualifying for financing and start investing in Ukraine. Now, the first question would be, in order to stimulate economic actors to invest in Ukraine, to engage in cooperation with Ukraine, there have to be, these actors have to be somehow incentivized. You as a senator, as a member of the legislative, do you see it as realistic, feasible from both a legal perspective but also a political one, to develop a legal framework that would provide for a set of tax incentives, for instance, in order to stimulate companies that are incorporated in Romania to engage in business with Ukraine on a more extensive, in a more extensive range? That would be the first question. And the second question would be, you know, reconstructing Ukraine means both gigantic projects like the ones we have been discussing just a few minutes ago, but also smaller projects like medium and small-sized enterprises that would engage in business together. There is a tendency, there is a temptation, in Romania I mean, whenever there are such large projects to be engaged, for instance, under the National Resilience Plan, there was a temptation at the beginning for encouraging only large companies, government-controlled companies, to have access to those funds. It would, of course, it is necessary to have large projects being developed by large companies. But do you see any risk that once the financing for the reconstruction of Ukraine is in place, do you see any risk on the side of Romania that such temptations might occur again? To the disadvantage of private companies that would like to engage in business, but there's no room left, there's no financing left for them because the big chunk was taken by government-controlled companies or by private companies, but that are politically connected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, it's very important to highlight the fact that my political party, the Democratic Alliance of Hungarians, now it's in an opposition side. So we are not anymore the part of the ruling party. So I really can't give you a proper answer, but I understand what you like to find out related to this very important issue. Actually, I wrote down 3 essential conditions which we need for this kind of strategy. The first one, obviously, we need peace. Actually, we need the ending of the war to start this reconstruction of Ukraine. The second one, which you mentioned somehow, is related to the very proper definition of the financing sources at the European level. And the third one, which is, I think, as well, it's very important, it's related to who will be the manager of this reconstruction process, institutionally speaking, obviously. So we need these 3 essential conditions, and when we're going to have these one, we have to start to discuss about at the each EU member state level, each EU member state how gonna involve in this process. Unfortunately, what I can say, and I really don't want to get in a, I don't know, political speech now, repeating again that we are not at the part of the ruling coalition, so we are in opposition side. But the fact is that now in Romania, they are really don't, actually, at the state level, we really don't have incentive programs for small and medium entrepreneurs, unfortunately. Fortunately, we have a huge number of important companies in Romania at the small and medium entrepreneurial level, but they developed themselves by own power, by own money, or maybe on loans from commercial banks. If we want to be an important part of Ukraine's reconstruction, I can fully agree with you that yes, we need very proper and special and very well-defined subsidies, maybe, incentives from the governmental side for the national companies as well, but of course for the small and medium entrepreneurs as well. That's the reason why I told you about very proper domains in which we should think about it to invest. Because I have a very important statistic, and we need the statistics, we need the figures to understand how things are going in our region or at the European level. And let me just to give you a very short insight. At the European level, at the whole European level, we have cable production capacities for 1,900 kilometers. The real need, it's around 3,200 kilometers. Another important information is related to turbines for offshore wind farms. The actual European capacity, it's around 7 gigawatt production capacity for turbines. The real need, it's around 20 gigawatt. So I think that these domains could be some important islands for the energy sector, and as I mentioned, a very important opportunity for Romania as well to become an important provider on security, energy security. So yes, my answer, generally speaking, is that yes, we need a very proper strategy, maybe separately for this process, which means the reconstruction of Ukraine. But again, as I told you, at the state level, we need to invest, for instance, and I like to repeat it again and again, in the railway infrastructure. Because if we believe that the electrification is the future, and yes, we can all agree that yes, the electrification is the future, we need more electricity production capacity, but as well, we need to electrifying the railway infrastructure system, because if we don't have a proper logistic side on the railway, maybe we can lose the opportunity to be the first in this process because of the proximity of our state with Ukraine.
Thank you.
And again, from opposition side. That's important.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Yes, sir. We'll have the gentleman over there, and then our friends from Turkey always.
My name is Hagino from Embassy of Japan. And my question is not so professional, but I'm wondering that under the war, some, how can I say, mysterious, unknown attack appears, like Nord Stream pipelines or, for example, dam attacks in Ukraine. And also, yesterday's discussions in the Black Sea, so many floating sea mines. And how do you think about against such kind of unknown terrorism attacks or sea mines to protect your platform? Thank you.
I guess Mr. Maximescu.
Yes, I think we have all witnessed what has happened during the last 1.5 years in terms of hybrid threats towards energy infrastructure, subsea infrastructure. For the time being, in the Black Sea, we have in the shallow waters existing production and platforms. During the past months, we have observed floating mines. We are in very close contact with all relevant Romanian authorities in order to cooperate together and to counter such threats. Together with our contractors, for sure, we are looking at all possible risks. We have a certain risk profile for this project and mitigation measures. In the end, such a project cannot be protected only by title holders. It's a common effort of the title holders together with relevant state authorities. And only by cooperating together in this format, perhaps also with neighboring member states as Turkey, Bulgaria, we will be effective in the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And since you mentioned Turkey, we'll hear from our friend.
Thank you very much, and also for the presentations. I will follow the same logic I have shared with you this morning. We don't need firefighters far away. First of all, we have to address it. Here, even in this hotel, you need some precautionary measures inside the hotel. You won't call the firefighter in the first fire you are going to see in the kitchen. You will try to extinguish it by yourself. So it's the same logic, and in this context, we have made it concrete, not in empty words. Mine countermeasure Black Sea Task Group is being formed. The concept has been agreed to. Memorandum of Understanding has been negotiated and finalized. We will soon sign it and launch it. So Japan can feel also comfortable about it. But what we need, of course, from Japan and others is to funding of these projects by the European Union. But if the European Union is going to be exclusive, will only be allocating funds for EU member countries, then it's not going to work. It should include candidate countries, including a country like my country, Turkey, because the capacities you have mentioned, if the European is used, EU is not reflecting the full European potential, because we have capacity, but it's not being used. In the defense industry, it's the same. European is exclusive, always. EU member countries. PESCO, exclusive, EU member countries. So we have to have a broader vision. And in this context, I should like to ask you this question, whether you have taken into account the capacities available in Turkey. We are now second or third largest solar panel producer in the world. We will soon become second, if not now. Minimum third country in the whole world after China producing solar panels. The same is true for wind turbines. The same is true for cables. The same is true for everything. So we should combine powers, our forces, means and capacities, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland. Also EU, Japan, US, and others can help if they want to. I would like to ask your comments and reactions to my comments and my questions. Thank you.
It was for me, I guess. The question, it was for me, I guess. It's okay. Again, the figures which I told you before, those are real statistic figures from the European Union administrative means of the word. Okay, so today, Turkey is not in the European Union, he has a candidate role, but I'm referring through these figures on the real situation inside European Union. So the answer is quite simple. So the figures which I told you are from European Union. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And I think we just ran out of time. Thank you, everybody, for being a wonderful audience. I'd like to thank our Mr. MAXIMESCU.
I think one concrete thing concerning cooperation with Turkey in the basin of the Black Sea, and especially if we speak about the Neptune Deep project, As far as we know, there was a public tender, and the tender of Transgas for building the pipeline between Tuzla, namely the offshore entry point, and Podișor south of Bucharest, was won by a big Turkish company. The pipeline will come from Turkey. So I think this is a concrete example of how we can cooperate together. Thank you.
Just to underline a fact, between our countries like Romania and Turkey, there it's a very good functional commercial cooperation. So,
Thank you for that. I'd like to thank our colleagues from Ukraine who joined us via video conference. Thanks our live guests. And the next panel is actually here in this room at 1 o'clock. Global food security in the Black Sea region, and then, no, that's in the other room, Carpathian venue, and then I think in this room we have challenges for private investments in the recovery process of Ukraine. So Mr. Pakiu, you might see that hopefully grants will not go only to state-owned companies. There might be some money for the private players as well. Thank you so much.